All right, today is a video all about softboxes, and hopefully we're gonna figure out if saving some money on a softbox is actually worthwhile, or if it's gonna be more costful and painful for you in the future. So I wanna start by just talking a little bit about softboxes and how much they've progressed over the years. When I first started doing photography, I had some Bowens studio lights that were not continuous lights like aputure and all those ones that are out on the market for video now. And the first softbox I bought was an octabox that was made by, I believe, Creative Light, which doesn't even exist anymore. And to put those softboxes together, you had to put each individual rod into the softbox one at a time. And it was kind of a pain, but also the rods started bending quickly. It didn't make it so that those softboxes could last quite a while. Once I switched over to the video world, I was kind of figuring out the lighting. For a while I had LED panels, and then when Aputure finally released the 120D, the original Aputure light, I was super excited to have a softbox Bowens mount light that I could use and shape light similar to photography. But the first softbox that I bought was from Aputure, the original light dome. And I think it took 16 different individual rods to make that softbox up. And it was a huge pain just to get set up. So I ended up returning that softbox, and I went over to Westcott and got one of their rapid boxes. Now, there may have been more on the market like this at the time, but I had never seen a softbox that had that rapid setup. It's more of that umbrella setup that we're used to seeing on the market now. And you basically just pull it out and then push it onto a center rod, and then it is locked into place, and all you have to do is put on the diffusion. But there's a challenge with them that I'm dealing with. Number one, I wanted a little bigger one, and these were pretty expensive. I'll have to check to see what their current price is, and I'll put it on the screen, but I believe it was around $300 when I bought it. And so that's the first issue. The second issue is you have to buy a grid for it separately. And if you bought it directly from Westcott, they were pretty expensive as well. So today the problem we're trying to solve is it worthwhile to buy some cheaper products like Glow that can give you a bigger softbox with a grid included? Or should you really invest in more expensive things? So when it comes to the Glow brand, we've bought a few things over the years. So Glow is a product line by Adorama, and we bought their 8x8 diffusion, which you can check out this video where we talk all about that. And we also bought this softbox right here. It's a strip bank, a 12-inch by 56-inch strip box. So the one thing that this Glow softbox didn't do well is the actual Bowens mount. I don't know if it was this specific copy or if it was a common thing, which we're gonna find out as we open these new softboxes, but it would not fit well on these aputure lights. And so we've done some jerry-rig methods. We even tried filing those down. What I should have done right off the bat is just sent it back and had them either send me a replacement or give up on it. But the brand is still around. I'm sure that if they were having that be a common thing, they were getting lots of complaints. So we're gonna look at, I got some bigger softboxes, octaboxes, and I also got some large rectangular softboxes, which can be helpful for product stuff. So let's take a look at these and open them up, and we'll kind of figure it out. All right, so this first one is one of the rectangular softboxes. Let's take a look. So, pretty quickly you can put on this, and then you essentially will hook on the inner diffusion on these little elastic clips, hook on the outer one, and then you can also put on the grid. But before we do that, we need to do the main test, which is, will it fit snugly on this light without a lot of work? So let's give that a try. I'm gonna zip this open. All right, so we got that softbox. When it comes to the feeling between the two, they really don't feel that much different. I think that Bowens mount is probably the biggest difference that I've noticed so far. All right, I'll put this together real quick. We'll probably speed it up for you. All right, so this is the softbox setup. Let's turn it on real quick. All right, this is about 50% power and aputure 120D Mark II. Got a little string hanging off there. So now let's throw on a grid real quick and see how that works. All right, this grid is going on pretty quickly. One of the nice things about this grid that I'm noticing already is that it has Velcro across the entire strip, where some of the softboxes that I've seen with the grid, it only has a thin strip on one side of it, and so it doesn't always lock in well. So now if I'm standing here, this light's not gonna impact me at all, but I can spin it and then it's gonna be more directional light, which is great. And let's open up one of the Octa boxes. This is a 48-inch Octa. So let's always use the knife away from you, kids. All right, so let's see if I can open this towards you without even looking. So that just goes on the center rod very quickly. It is on. Let's hold it up to this Rapid box. So that is the Rapid box. And if we hold it down below, you can see it's a bit deeper. And then if we spin this towards you, it is quite a bit larger. This one's a 36-inch, this one's a 48-inch. All right, so moment of truth, let's put this on. I always zip this open so I can put my hand on the inside. Let me do this and let's try that one more time. It did lock in, but let's see if we can do it a little smoother. So set that in. Oh, that was nice. That one didn't feel tight at all, and so that's amazing. So real quickly, let's put this diffusion on there. All right, so this softbox is built. We'll turn this one on. Again, we're at about 50% power on a 120D Mark II. And yeah, I mean, it is noticeably different in size. But yeah, let's throw the grid on real quick. All right, just like that. We got the grid on. It's gonna impact here. If we're over here to the side of it, it's not gonna have as much of an impact. And I'm just gonna say, just from quick view, I'm really impressed with the construction of this. Like, I have had these softboxes for a long time. The Velcro seems very similar to this. This one feels maybe a little bit more durable. The material of the actual softbox, they do feel like they're slightly different material. It's always hard to tell true durability. Unfortunately, in this video, we're not going to be able to do months and months of testing. So that's one of the areas that we may have to give a recap after we've used it for 6 months or a year to see how well has it held up. Whenever we take down a softbox, we always take off the grid. Main reason we do that is we want to save the grid as much as possible. Though figuring out how to fold them right always takes a little bit of time, so I'm not going to waste your time with that. And something that we started doing, I've always babied my equipment, and so forever with these Westcott boxes, I would take off the outer diffusion. I would take off the inner baffle. I would then fold them up and put them in an envelope or big plastic bag and keep them separate inside this. And then after the few years, this is what we ended up doing. We turn off the light, we take it off, and instead of taking off all that diffusion, we reach inside, we release that umbrella. You're gonna have a bit of air in there, kind of like a tent. We then push in that diffusion. You'll have to get all that air out. Push in the diffusion. For this one, it does have a wrap that goes around it. And then we just put it in like this. Now, if you want to really baby it and get the most life out of it, it's probably best to remove those diffusion layers. But if you care a little bit more about speed, sometimes on a shoot, just being able to pull this, put that in, and then quickly throw on a grid if you need the grid, can be a great benefit. So before we can finish this, I need to take these out and test them to make sure that they work. All right, so let's get to the real point of this video. Is it worth buying the glow version of these softboxes over a more name brand like the Westcotts? Now, here's where it gets a little crazy, and that is the price. Okay, so the Westcott softboxes, let's not talk about this one, but let's talk about the comparable softboxes. Their Octa that is 48 inches is on sale right now for about $250. But here's the kicker. Do you know how much that grid costs for it? The one that's designed for the Westcott? $250. It costs twice as much to get, it's $500 for a full softbox with a grid. I want you to come in a little closer for this. Okay, now that we're right here, I want to tell you how much these softboxes cost. This one, with grid included, $90. The rectangular one, with grid included, $65. For about $300, I got 4 softboxes with grids that honestly for our workflow, I think it's gonna make a lot more sense than spending, what would that be, $2,000 on softboxes and grids. Sure, at some point, maybe that makes sense for a company, but for us at this stage, spending $300 to get softboxes that really probably aren't gonna have much of an impact on light quality at all is gonna be more worthwhile. Thanks as always for watching. We love that you enjoy our videos. Make sure you check out this video here where we talk about the 8x8 frame, and also check out our recent podcast with Madison Dyer.